let's move on to the Michigan Senate race that suddenly opened up yesterday. Nobody really expected Gary Peters to step down. He's a pretty run-of-the-mill, conventional, well-liked establishment Democrat, wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yeah, he's very, like, unions are cool with him. He's like a rank-and-file politician who, like, worked his way up.
Yeah.
Now he's a senator. Probably sit there for life. But, you know, you only make, what, $174,000 a year as a senator?
Boring.
You spend all your time with incredibly rich people doing, like, the coolest rich people things.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're like, wait a minute. If I have power over these people, they're asking me for things, yet I got no money. Yet here I am with $20 million in my campaign account, but I can't spend it on myself? Like, let me just cash out of here. Start making a couple $1 million a year for 10 years and just really live large. I don't know what he's going to do. We'll see. But like, I wouldn't expect anything different.
Right. No, but it did take everybody by surprise that Peters announced his retirement yesterday. And if we skip here to C2, we can put this Axios report up on the screen that former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is, quote, taking a serious look at running for Peters' seat. This is from a person close to Buttigieg. Quote, Pete is exploring all of his options on how he can be helpful and continue to serve. He's honored to be mentioned for this, and he's taking a serious look. What I love about that quote, Ryan, is I hope the person who said he's honored to be mentioned for this is the one who mentioned him for this. Like,
Liz Smith? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It was, yes, probably. It was probably like, hey, Pete, let's call up Axios and just say we're honored to be mentioned, and that will create the mention of us.
The thing about Pete is
Brilliant.
His consultants probably don't even have to tell him that. You know, he's on the ball.
Yeah.
Like
this guy is.
He's wanted this for a very long time, and so it'll be Mayor Pete. How is the Republican field looking over there? I mean, they keep losing to very seemingly beatable Democrats with pretty good candidates.
Yeah. Well, and
yet they've won 2 out of the last 3 presidential cycles.
Right. Close races.
But on the gubernatorial level and the Senate level, they just get waxed.
Yeah, it's a really good point because, I actually just wrote a piece about Alyssa Slotkin yesterday for Unheard. Very close race. It was a very close race, very cultural.
Yeah, that's true. She eked it out.
Yeah, and she actually had an interesting campaign on abortion, which is where Mallory McMorrow, who many people remember, was sort of conspicuously posting. She went really viral. This was a couple of years ago, and it was about, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was about like banned books, quote unquote banned books, something like that. And
wasn't she like a Mike staffer or something like that?
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I think she wrote
She was like
Gawker.
a state, yeah, she was, yeah. But she's
like a Brooklyn hipster who moved back to Michigan.
Moved back home, Many such cases.
Gave a great speech and went viral,
Many such cases. She seems to have political ambitions and could be a rival to Buttigieg in this race. Dave Weigel was, quoting her tweets, wishing Gary Peters a happy retirement yesterday with interest.
Yeah, and her problem is she is in the same lane as Buttigieg, kind of the woke-leaning center-left.
Yep.
Where you're not in the Bernie lane, and the way you differentiate yourself from establishment Democrats is you're more aggressive in how you fight on behalf of cultural issues. And I don't think you could beat Pete on that because he's just the best at that. So, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and
maybe Pete keeps his powder dry for 2028.
This is back to who Republicans possibly have. I mean, yeah, maybe he does. Right. Although he could still technically, I guess he could run in 2028.
You could. It's just so kind
would look pretty,
of weird. Yeah, like you're going from your swearing in to Iowa.
Yeah. Well,
they don't do Iowa anymore, right?
That's right. But so Alyssa Slotkin is out here talking to, for example, the Free Press, Barry Weiss's publication, about how Democrats just need to get back to being quote unquote normal, and how she is the kind of normal person whisperer because she eked out this Michigan Senate race by talking about the economy and blah, 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 which, by the way, really isn't true. She sort of tried to pivot to that, but when she was in the House of Representatives, was pretty eagerly leading into some of these, like, she was the co-sponsor. I think she may have even been the sponsor of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act.
Well, everyone was for that.
Yeah, everyone was for that, right? But she really leaned into it, took the initiative on it. So anyway.
CIA, right?
Oh, yeah. So, like, it's a tough race for Republicans because Democrats in Michigan are just smarter than Democrats in different parts of the country. They're forced to be because Michigan has an interesting demographic profile of the people that Democrats are losing. So they kind of got to that question first. But it'll be an interesting race for sure. Less interesting probably than Vivek Ramaswamy's.
We'll see Rashida Tlaib run.
Yeah. Less interesting than Vivek Ramaswamy's Ohio run because he has to get out of a primary. The primary is where it would be interesting. The general election would be less interesting.
How cooked is he because of his Urkel tweet?
Well,
that got him thrown out of DOGE. Yeah.
Let's take a look at his interview with Charlamagne the God on Breakfast Club, where Charlamagne really laid into him.
Do you think you were pushed out of DOGE because Trump rolled back the DEI initiatives?
No, to the contrary. And I would say, just to be super clear about it, I have no problem with framing or whatever. It was really just an actual mutual decision where you look at, here was one vision on approach, here's a different vision on an approach. That's great. There's no right or wrong answer. With a technology-driven approach and a technology-first approach, there's no better person than Elon to run with that. With a constitutional law focus, with a legislation focus, some of the areas I was focused on, probably the right place to do it is elected office. And so we all agreed on that. And I think that that's actually a good thing where we're actually able to collaborate, divide, and conquer.
I hear you, Vivek.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Oh, that's fair
But
enough.
I think you either got pushed out or you know that it's going to implode. I think that Elon is going to crash and burn it, and you're a smart guy, and you said, you know what? Let me get out of Dodge and go do my governor of Ohio thing.
So look, here's
Doge. Yes, exactly.
I knew that the right step for me in the long run is elected office and to pursue the vision that we're talking about here, to actually translate that to action in my own terms. That's what I've been called to do. It was clear that I could not do that and serve on DOGE at the same time, even for logistical reasons. It came to be in the government rather than an outside body. I was proud to be able to spend the first couple of months offering my contributions and setting it in the right direction. With its focus now, with its digital technology focus, no better person to do that than Elon in the way that he's going to lead it. And I am hopeful that there's going to be a lot of streamlining of government bureaucracy that comes out of that. And I'm pursuing my next steps at the state level.
Are they going to endorse you? Is Elon going to endorse you? Is Trump going to endorse you?
We're all on very good terms. And so I wouldn't want to speak for anybody else, but I will say that they're very supportive of the decision that I made to pursue as my next step.
Yes, I'm sure they are very supportive of the decision for that next step. He is going to need a better answer to that question. He's smooth, but way too smooth there, right? That was some real politician talk.
The part that was absurd to me was when he said he can't run for office and also serve on this DOGE committee.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute. Elon Musk is tweeting 24 hours a day, faking being a good video game player, running SpaceX, running X,
Tesla.
running Tesla.
Neuralink.
Little Neuralink. There's a little Solar City still part in there.
His AI company.
Got the AI. So you can do all this, but you can't, run for Senate and also go after seniors or whatever.
Well, it's the digital technology focus.
So that was the substance of it. I'm curious if you have any insight into how serious that dispute was between them. What he seems to be suggesting is that Elon Musk is going to focus on technology, basically, I guess, trying to analyze where, using algorithms to analyze where money is being spent, and then using a scalpel or a sledgehammer to go after them. Right now, he's going with a sledgehammer. We talked about in the A block with asking for every federal worker to consider taking this buyout, whereas Vivek was saying that he would prefer a constitutional law approach and passing legislation. On the one hand, you could read that as some shade of I'm actually going to try to do this legally. Like we have a system set up where people vote for representatives who pass laws and then implement them, and I'm going to do it within that system.
By the way, that's the entire point of what Russ Vought is trying to do at OMB. So
just get rid of the representative
or
democracy.
Is to force Congress to actually pass laws or take them away from the executive branch in the way that Elon Musk is trying to use executive powers.
Right, except Congress already did pass laws. Russ just doesn't like them.
That delegated the funding to the executive branch.
They did not delegate funding, it directed the funding.
The
There's a difference.
agency
It's like-
shall.
It's like if you have an Uber driver, did you delegate your destination to the Uber driver, or did you direct the Uber driver? What if the Uber driver's like, 401 9th Street? How about 901 4th Street?
Yeah, this is going to the Supreme Court.
No, there's two different branches here. The branch who's the driver directed the Uber driver and sent the money. Your job is to just drive the Uber.
This exact argument is being, I think one of the things that
Right.
vote is doing is this is designed to go to the Supreme Court to actually hash out its empowerment. We can talk.
And we did talk about
We
this.
talked about this with Jeff, but we should add Ramaswamy. This is according to a local Cleveland paper, is actually expected to announce his governor bid in mid-February. So just in a matter of weeks, makes sense then why it was going on Breakfast Club, and he's brought on some advisors from
The governor?
J.D. Vance's political team. Yeah, governor, yep. So he will be in that primary with the Attorney General Dave Yost and the Treasurer Robert Sprague. And I actually think getting out of that primary is really going to be the tough one for him. It's not guaranteed at all.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's going to have to face questions about that Alzheimer's scam he did again. Like in any reasonable society, he's in prison right now. Like for people who don't know, and we talked about this, now it's cool to talk about on the right. We talked about it years ago. He bought an Alzheimer's drug that had already failed its FDA trials a bunch of times, did his Ramaswamy hype to it, which pumped the stock up really high, promised it like, oh man, this is going to be amazing, hired all his family, pulled the rug out, took all his money out, and then the FDA rejects it for like the 4th time. And everybody who put money in based on his hype lost.
Right, it's one thing to run in a national political or a national presidential primary. It's another thing to run in a very localized race where those questions are it's just sharper because there's less national noise. So I expect that'll be a pretty significant part.
Yeah.
Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.